Hello and greetings, fellow StarCrafters. PGL Milncraft here with game number 1, rather, not number 1, which is not in fact a number, between mouz.Thorzain, the red Terran player up here in the top left corner, and in the bottom right corner we have none other than the man with the plan, WhiteRa. Now, WhiteRa, of course, is playing as a Protoss player, as he always has since the original, and apparently WhiteRa thought that they were going to be playing on Daybreak, but that is not actually the case. They are playing on Antiga Shipyards, and we're about to find out exactly which version of entirely different maps. Yeah, absolutely. Although they are both somewhat macro-oriented, this map is, I mean, they're very different play styles. I mean, it's not just like the size of the map which determines the play style, it's different avenues and lengths and entire different kinds of strategies happen on these sorts of maps. He says a long time to not play on dual. Oh, I guess it means dual site maybe, or maybe he's talking about a two-player map. I don't know. Either one is absolutely possible. This is the version with the gold minerals right here, as we can see. We're going to kind of have to see if those come into effect as a result. A lot of tournaments, actually I think probably just the GSL has taken those out. Other tournaments have taken those out as well. And we're kind of remains to be seen exactly what kind of strategies. I would give an introduction to these players, but you most likely know who they are. Both players are foreigners. WhiteRa is Ukrainian, I'm pretty sure, and Thorzain is Swedish. And they're both, I would say, they're both very good at their respective races. WhiteRa is super popular in the spectator crowd, I would say. I think partially because it seems like Husky, who of course is a very big, very well-known and popular commentator, likes to cast him a lot. He hasn't necessarily shown his dominance at really big tournaments in terms of like winning a really big tournament, but you don't necessarily have to win in order to be a very good player. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen to you which kind of invalidate that. Now, as this is a 4-player map and not a 2-player map like Daybreak, you can see that mouz.Thorzain is going to go ahead and checking each of the different areas here. And apparently sending an SCV out over to the corner. Oh, is that going to be a second barracks? Ooh, it very well is. Alright, so it looks like he is going to be going for some 2-Rex play right now. It remains to be seen whether or not WhiteRa is actually going to be spotting that. Now, WhiteRa did opt for the Nexus first. Now, Thorzain does not quite know this, as his SCV is still traveling along. If you look at the minimap, right here is this little SCV, which will in fact see the Nexus first. And it'll be very pleasing to him to see that, as we see a... Oh, actually, it's a reactor going down first. Okay, that's a little interesting. I would have expected the tech lab going down first so that you can get out the Marauder and the Marauder slow right away, as Marauders with slow especially are like unbelievably effective in the early game against Protoss. Like, they're just so unbelievably useful. Now, it looks like WhiteRa grabs some minerals. I'm not sure if he's going to try to go in for a secondary scout to see if he can see, like, you know, for example, if there's a command center going down or something like that. But he still does not know about the 2-Rex going on right here, and it remains to be seen exactly how much Thorzain is in fact going to invest into this 2-Rex. I would guess that he is not going to be sending any SCVs along, but it's entirely possible that he could, keep production up basically at both those barracks for a very long time, and just kind of delaying his expansion because of that. Oh, is he actually opting for combat shields? Looks like he is not opting for... Wait, why isn't he getting any... He's not getting any upgrades right now. Is he going to start Stimp? Alright, well, it remains to be seen exactly what upgrades he's going to go for. I'm very surprised not to see Marauder slow, or at least combat shields right now. We have 4 SCVs, actually, so SCVs are going along on this trip. Alright, so he's got... What the hell? Alright, so he's got 5 SCVs. Now, he actually pulled these SCVs way too soon. Okay, now concussive shells have started. Okay, so he is in fact going for concussive shells. That makes perfect sense given the situation. Now, SCVs could have actually been pulled later. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't do that. And right now, as WhiteRa sees the SCVs, he knows that this is a semi-all-in. It's not a completely all-in because it is not all of Thorzain's SCVs that are going along for the attack. Zealot turns around. It does not quite get caught. It is going to get taken out. Probably only going to take out exactly, looks like 1 Marine right there. Another Marine does take a good amount of damage from those Stalkers, but the Stalkers are going to be able to retreat right now. Concussive Shells is not done right now for Thorzain, so it's going to prevent any sort of... It's going to prevent the Marauders from being able to slow and prevent the retreat of the... Nope, now it's finished, and that's going to go ahead and slow that down. Probes are now going to get pulled. Those Marines are going to do quite well against those probes, however. Is doing a decent amount of damage. That Marauder's been pulled to the back, but he's going to get focus fired down by the Stalkers right now, and it looks like the rest of this is in fact going to get cleaned up by the Stalkers. 2 additional Stalkers, a Stalker and a Zealot, looks like, have actually been pulled in. A bunker has been started now, and Thorzain's going to try to sit on that bunker and see if he can get it up, but it looks like it's not going to happen. 3 Stalkers is a lot to deal with for the Terran player in the early game, but it looks like Thorzain's attack is not going to be successful. It is worth noting that he has not expanded behind this. It's a very big problem for him right now, actually, as a result of the fact that he doesn't have a backup plan. If this attack fails to kill his opponent basically entirely, then he is going to have a lot of catching up to do, as his opponent's expansion will be up before his is even started, and he's doing a good job right now killing off a decent amount of probes. He's going to want to send an additional SCV down here in order to finish that bunker. It looks like it is not on the way. I'm not sure why he's not sending that. It looks like he's probably macroing right now, which is why he's having trouble sending in 2 additional Zealots, who not going to be what's helpful right now, because that Marauder Slow is going to be so effective right now at preventing them from really being able to engage with you right now. Warp Gates is, however, finished, and that's going to allow additional forces to warp in, and of course it cuts down the entire building time of the forces. For those of you who didn't know that, gateways actually produce units slower than warp gates do. 5 to 10 seconds slower depending on the unit. Looks like those Marines and Marauders are doing a pretty good job against those. A very nice micro pump. Thorzain is able to kite the vast majority of those units. It looks like he was able to take out the last Zealot, and those 2 Stalkers will fall as well. He's really wishing he sent that SCV right now. Definitely would have had the time to get here and build the barracks here now, and finish the bunkers. The SCV is still actually not on the way. However, Thorzain has started his expansion, and he's actually doing enough damage against WhiteRa right now that it's looking very hard for WhiteRa to be able to come back in this particular game right now, as he's just going to be able to park outside of that barracks. Oh wow, that Stalker's barely in range of that bunker right there. Now, what's basically going to happen is I think he's going to have to give up the Nexus, almost certainly, and it's probably going to transition to some sort of floor gate. So probably Thorzain's going to want to try to build. Oh, no, looks like he's going to try to save the Nexus. Some additional Zealots are coming down. Looks like he was able to focus both of them down, able to do some nice kiting right there. Zealots coming around the corner, though, are dealing some additional damage as well. And looks like the Stalkers are now going to be focused down as well, and then the Zealot, and then the last Stalker. That means that the Nexus is almost certainly going to fall. Another round of Warp-ins, though, from WhiteRa will give him exactly 1 more chance at saving the Nexus. It's possibly going to want to send some probes as well in order to make sure that he gets able to finish this off. It looks like he's opting not to do that. He's already lost a large number of probes, so he wants to make sure for sure that he doesn't lose any more economy, because if he loses the Nexus and that many probes, then this is absolutely going to be game at that point in time. But looks like Thorzain's got some missed micro right now. Where's his units going? Uh-oh, I think he went back to micro a little bit, and he just did that wrong. He also did not cancel that bunker, so lost some additional production right there, or some minerals rather. Nice focus fire of that hurt Stalker right there, and some nice targeting of the Zealots. Is going to be able to take them down. He's going to want to fire 1 last shot against that Stalker, only at 13 health right now. And WhiteRa is able to pull through and save the Nexus. Extremely impressive, but it's not out of the woods yet. He's still got some additional forces right here. He sent the Stalker back. We do have 3 additional Stalkers right now. Thorzain absolutely should have sent another SCV down in order to finish that bunker. He wasn't able to really do that right now. He was too invested in the micro right now. But if we could take a look at the worker count, we see that Thorzain is up 8 workers. It's an incredibly nice spot to be for a Terran player in this sort of situation. He has, I think he's getting up to his 4th barracks, or 5th barracks right now. So he's going to have some very nice production coming out as well, and be able to spend that large amount of minerals that he has just developed during that engagement right there. Very impressive that Thorzain was able to expand and add those additional barracks during this attack. And I think, oh, we should go back to production. Yeah, Stimpack is in fact on the way, so probably I would think that we would be seeing some sort of attack relatively soon in order to try to capitalize on the fact that his opponent's so far economically behind. And looks like WhiteRa is going to send out a probe right now. It's probably going to check exactly what's going on inside Thorzain's base, just to make sure that he has his expansion up and isn't planning any sort of 1 base all-in strategy, as he doesn't actually know exactly when his opponent expanded behind that particular attack. So if his opponent decided to expand late behind that attack, WhiteRa actually wouldn't be in that bad of a situation. Now, if that was also the case, I would have guessed that more SCVs actually would have been on the way, and it looks like WhiteRa probably knows he's behind, as he has opted for the Twilight Council, and I would think that we're seeing, yep, there we go, Dark Shrine is on the way as well, as he was waiting for those 250 gas right there. Looks like this probe is just going to build a proxy pound right now. That's going to be for the Dark Templar. That's exactly what it was for. However, an attack is going to hit before that happens. As I was talking about earlier, looks like it is going to be a combat shields timing attack. That probe is going to spot it. However, there are no sentries to hold this off right here, and this could be very problematic right now for WhiteRa, as he is down 40 supply right now, and they're slow, and so many Zealots are going to die right now. None of them are going to really deal any amount of damage right now. WhiteRa is going to pull a bunch of his probes, but I don't think it's going to matter right now. I'm pretty sure this force is going to just absolutely steamroll through the entirety of WhiteRa's forces, And WhiteRa is, in fact, going to have to GG out of this game any second now, as this horse is going to go ahead and finish off the weakened Nexus right there. And goodbye. WhiteRa, I guess, is staying in the game. Okay, WhiteRa was staying in the game because possibly the Dark Shrine, which was, in fact, on the way. But Thorzain didn't allow him the chance to get that up, so it didn't end up mattering, as the units would have ran in here, so destroying all the gateways. And then, even if you got a couple of Dark Templars out, there is, in fact, a turret going up at the base right here, which is going to prevent any sort of damage happening. And even if, you know what, even if a Dark Templar survives unscathed for a little while until he has to wait for his scan, it doesn't matter. He's dead. So, good job from Thorzain. Very nice with the 2 Rex. 2 Rex, especially that second Rex's placement right here. It was an area that WhiteRa wouldn't be able to spot it, so that he couldn't tell. And, you know, WhiteRa went for the heavy macroeconomic build, and it just didn't end up doing very well for him, obviously, as his opponent was planning a relatively quick aggression against him, and, you know, he didn't quite hold it. So, looks like that is, in fact, a good game from WhiteRa. We're going to be moving on to game number 2. This is PGL Milncraft, signing off.